Thank you, and welcome back to Don Hilbert's Minding Your Own Business. In this episode, we're going to be talking about relationships. So I have here our good friend and Facebook pastor, Reverend Tiffany Daye-Lee. Okay? Thank you, Pastor, for coming in today. Pat, we'll call you Pat. Pat is short for pastor, so if you want to honor your pastor, call him Pat. If it's a boy, call him Pat. If it's a girl, you could call her Pat.
Well, Dante, tell the good people that I'm not really a pastor.
She's not really a pastor.
Okay,
it's just that on Facebook, she gives us so much judgment, and we love it. And so we honor her as pastor, and we hold on to her every word.
Okay.
So in real life, it's Tiffany Lee, and she's here with us. You might remember her from a previous episode, and she has really some good points. Tiffany Lee, RN, MSN, BSN.
I'm a nurse.
And a Southwest native.
That's right.
So when we get down to business, we get down to business. Very down-to-earth young lady.
Thank you.
Okay. So now, in this episode, we're talking about relationships, as opposed to any domestic violence approach or anything like that. The man's role in the household, from your perspective.
Well, in my perspective, and the Bible's perspective too, the man is the head of the household. He's the provider. He's the protector. And since you brought up domestic violence, I think that stems from ego power struggles in a relationship. If a man feels like he doesn't have any power financially, emotionally, then maybe he might take it out domestic violently. So I feel like if you do things the right way, maybe you could alleviate some of that.
What's doing things the right way?
To me, I feel like the man is the head of the household. So, a lot of times when we're on social media, you and I were always on social media, these young guys are talking about, oh, well, I'm not taking care of no woman. She got to pay half the rent. I just feel like that's a no-no. I mean, what kind of man needs a woman to survive? I just wasn't raised like that. My mother and father are still married. My mom and dad. My dad is 70. He still takes care of his wife. When we were growing up, 6 kids, right. My dad was the head of the household. He took care of his family.
Right.
He took the load. My mom didn't have to stress out and be worried about us getting put out of our house because, the man needs to be the man. And nowadays, these young men out here, they want a woman to take care of them or they want to be roommates. And I'm just not with it. I don't want a roommate. I can't be a roommate to a man.
I understand that. Well, from the financial aspect, if you have the two, I thought the woman was supposed to be a helpmeet, but yeah, the man is supposed to be the provider generally. Right. But you have women out here who want to take care of the men, and I think that's a power control thing.
Well, listen.
As well,
if you want to raise another child, because that's basically what it is. What woman wants to take care of a man? I don't know these women.
Oh, they want to keep them around.
Women? So they're taking care of men.
That Facebook group that we belong to, and how this girl said that she bought her, we saw the cops. I actually saw them riding past me the other day. Now, it was a trailer, and it had, how the people deliver the cars to wherever they deliver them to, and they be stacked on top of each other, and you go to the other side because you think that one's going to fall through your windshield. Well, this one was full of ATVs and dirt bikes.
So she bought them. Well, I'm not saying, it's nothing wrong with buying your spouse a gift. What I'm saying, as far as if a woman is out here working 2 jobs and a man is home playing video games, there's an issue. I don't think that a woman should be financially supporting a man. I think that's ridiculous.
She wants to keep him.
So what is it, male prostitution we're talking about, or?
It's kind of go along with that $40 thing.
I don't know nothing about the $40.
You know about the $40.
I do not know. I don't know about the $40. What's the $40?
Evidently, and
Do you know
you're
about
married.
$40?
Well, you're married, so you wouldn't know. But see, $40 is $40. I don't exactly know what $40 buy, but evidently it's sufficient in exchange for sex. Okay, so the girls. Now I don't know how much the guys is charging now, but.
What kind of people are we talking about here?
Well, the people on my cell phone, and they say that the people have, if you give them $40, everybody knows about it. So I don't know.
I don't know.
We are a part of the same Facebook group where all they talk about is $40.
When I was a single woman, and me, when I was a single woman.
You didn't need $40.
Was I doing anything for $40?
No, I'm not saying all the women.
So
but
don't say the girls, because I was never like that. I always had a job. I've been a nurse for how many years? 17 years?
Oh, Lord. It's been that long?
It's been that long. So every woman is not out here hunting
I'm
for
not
somebody
saying
to give her
every woman.
$40.
So what I'm saying is some women need $40, but some men need $40, and so the women supply the men with them. And also, okay, I put it this way, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I observe, or maybe it's all in my head, but that sometimes a woman could be a man too, but in this case, it's generally women who are in this predicament where they have maybe like more kids than they could probably provide for, and so
$40 is going to help.
No, not $40, but the government.
Well, let me tell you
them.
something about a woman and the difference between a woman and a man as far as it comes to having sex. A woman don't have to find and pay no man for no sex. If a woman want to have sex, she can call him, Tom, Dick, Harry, what they say, all of them, for free. Okay? It's easy to find a man to sleep with. Now, I've never been a man. Y'all the ones that got to be dashing out $40. Women don't have to do that. Sex is free for women.
Well, I don't know.
It's free.
Well, see, then what about, all right, maybe the guys don't need $40, but they want food and they want a place to stay.
They might want a place to stay.
And so then the girls provide. I just don't know. So what you're saying is, and we're talking about as far as marriage now. We put this single people later.
Marriage is a different ballpark. When you are married to the right man, you could be married to the wrong man, because I got friends that are married to people that they're taking care of too. So,
Because they're disabled?
Because they're bums. So if you marry a bum, he's not going to miraculously turn into this fabulous husband. He's going to still be the bum that you marry. So you get what you get when you married him. But as for the way my mother raised me is no romance without finance. And I added on in advance. So in advance of the romance, you need the finance. That's my rule.
So you pay before you
That's
let.
That's what I'm saying. What that means to me is, as an educated black woman, I'm not even dating a man that is not, you don't want to say on your level because you don't want to say I'm bougie, but really that's what it is. I'm not dating a man that's not on my level. I'm, as a woman, a master prepared registered nurse, if I was single, I would not go out and date a man that worked at McDonald's, because I'm not on that level, and I'm not going to. That's, to me, it's like taking on another bill. So I'm making whatever I'm making, and then I meet. And he could be the most fabulous man in the world and all that, because I know that's what you get ready to say. Well, what if he's a good man? Blah blah blah.
No, I'm not going to say that.
He could be a good man, and you can find you a good man and make some more money too. People are in this thing of settling because they feel like I got to settle for him because he's a good man, even though he. No, you can have it all. You can have a provider that's a good man that treats you well, that takes good care of you. You don't have to just settle for somebody because you feel like you can't find somebody that has it all. If you got it all, you feel like you're a good catch, well, go out there and get somebody that's your match. That's how I feel.
Well, what about the people who say, all right, well, I'm about to make it big, or she stuck with me when I didn't have nothing. And when nothing wrong with working at McDonald's, any job will give you structure, and if you committed to it and you want to be on top.
There is nothing wrong with working with McDonald's.
But what if he if he's working towards doing something, and then they like, she was with me, what they say, my A1 day one or something?
Well, me and my husband, when I met him, he was an electrician, but he was delivering newspapers. But see, he had a skill, he had a plan.
Right.
When he met me, I wasn't an RN, I was an LPN, but I had a plan to get my RN. So if you meet somebody that has a plan, we all didn't wake up having it going on when we first worked. I had a baby at 18, so we all did things.
Right.
But it depends on whether you see potential or not. But at the age that I am now, I don't have time for nobody's potential.
Well, of course not. No.
So it depends. But, my thing is, don't think that you can, they say you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. You can't turn a bum into a husband. You can't turn somebody that has nothing going for themselves, that's not trying to do anything, and you think you're going to take them in as a orphan or something and care for them and turn them into this spectacular man. It's not going to happen.
Okay, so that's the groundwork. That's the basis. So then when you get into this fabulous relationship, you believe.
I believe.
And there's nothing wrong with your beliefs, but your belief is that no matter how much money a woman makes, and no matter what she is accomplishing, the man is still going to pay everything. There's no 50-50, no 70-30.
There's no
80-20
in marriage, period. It's 100-100. Me being married, here's the difference. Okay, my husband does not want to cook.
Okay.
He does not want to clean. Right. He does not want to wash clothes. He don't want to do that.
Traditional structure.
So we have gender roles. And some people are like, no, this is 2019. We believe in gender roles in our house, and it works for us.
Right.
He doesn't want to do that stuff. So what he does is he works, and he works hard, and he works long hours. And when he comes home, he doesn't have to worry about washing clothes, cleaning clothes. None of that. It's done.
Right.
But at the same time, when Quicken Loans bill comes in, he's not looking at me like, do you have your hand in the mortgage? I'm going to say, are you crazy?
Right.
You know, that's his thing. He does the man thing. He's the head of the household. He makes the final decisions, and that's the way we operate in our house, and it's good. Not to say that I just got all my money stacked up in the bank, because mine spends too. But as far as like a mortgage, electric, gas, or what, you know what my mom says?
What?
And this is like the best thing she's ever said to me. She's so smart. She said, a man is supposed to pay everything he would have to pay, even if you weren't there. Now you think about that.
Well, that's true.
If you work, you're single, right?
Right.
You got your own, you got your rent.
Right.
You got your electric.
Right.
You got your gas.
No.
Well, you would have your gas. You would have your water. You would have your cable.
Yes.
All those things you would have to pay whether you had a wife or not. So why is it that you get this woman who's supposed to be the weaker species, men are quick to say, why does she have to come in and take the load off of you? Which you would have to pay it anyway. Why? What are we doing here?
Right.
She's already going to come in and probably clean your house, cook, clean, do everything she's supposed to do.
Right.
Help you fix your credit. You know, we coming in doing all kinds of stuff as women. We're going to fix your credit. We're going to get you some new curtains. We're going to make sure. Why do I have to pay half your bill, sir, and then deal with you and your shenanigans? I lost my wallet. Can you call and make my doctor's appointment? Women take on so much.
Right.
I'm not taking on all of that and then turning around and you want some of my money.
Well, that's right.
I can't do it.
That's right.
But that's how I feel, as you would say.
Right.
How do you feel?
And
How do you feel about it?
How do I feel? I feel like, though, because I'm single and I have been that way my whole life, I have no clue. And that's probably why I am single. But I feel like, this is what I think. What I feel like is that if a woman, sometimes you got women out here that need $40. You know,
God,
and it's not because and not all the women have it together, and some of the men don't either. But then they get together and they have this kind of, so they help each other. So maybe she put 20, he had 20, and then there's $40.
Well, here's the thing. That's another point, and I'm glad you brought it up. It's all about what you're capable of doing. You
Right.
can't, if a man, he don't have it like that, he don't have it like that. He's getting paid every 2 weeks and he's doing his best. But me, at the same time, when I was a single mom, I worked 2 jobs. So I feel like as a man, you better get 2 jobs to take care of your family.
Right.
My husband always say, he better hustle harder. Listen, I know men out here doing Uber, cutting grass. They doing anything they need to do to take care of their family. So at the end of the day, I see, as a nurse, I see too many nurses working 16-hour shifts, women, and their husbands are working like 8 hours. I'm like, why are you here for 16 hours and your husband's home? If I'm working 16 hours, he better be working 20, okay?
Right.
So you can only do what you can do. I don't want men to be out here robbing, stealing, and killing, trying to take care of their family. Because the Reverend said I should. But I'm just saying, be a man. Men, women, as women, we look to men like, if something's going on, I'm like this, well, I'm about to call my husband. And if you can't be the husband that I can't say, I'm going to call my husband with confidence, you can't be my husband. I want to be like, well, should I call him?
Right.
No, I know when I call him, it's get ready to be something going to happen. We're going to fix this situation.
Right.
So that's just the way I feel.
I know I witness a lot of times in relationships where people have, like the husband and wife or whoever, the co-partners, depend on each other. Like one person is good at making the calls or something like that. So they're like, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with the transfer and the registration and all this stuff. And they handle it for them because, the one person might complain about it or something, but the other person, the spouse, really depends on them for that. So that's how they help each other out.
But that's how we are.
Right.
My husband always says, if anything ever happened to you, I don't even know what to do, who to call, how to do. So there's roles in marriage, whether people want to believe it or not. And it irritates me when I see on social media when these men are like, I'm looking for a woman to take care of me. And, oh, she can't. You are the worst of the worst. Who raised you? What?
Well, I didn't raise them, but you think a woman, I know a woman, not personally, but I know of a woman who, I've heard this audibly, said that they keep the man high to keep him calm or whatever. So I guess that's where they would keep him around.
What caliber of women are we talking about?
I mean, there's all different kinds of
Who are these women?
And, there's married couples and then some people aren't married. You know what I mean? So
But who are these people that when you talking about people that get hot, but that's a different kind of beast now. I don't know about those people. I'm talking about, fully functional adults. And I do know some men that are like educated men that feel like, I feel like my woman has to, I'll cook and I'll clean and she should pay half the bills. And you know what I say to those people?
What? Half the bills?
That's your business.
Right.
But you could never be my man. Okay? Because I feel like a woman is not going to respect you. You just think about it. If a woman feel like you handling your business, you taking good care of her, and I'm not just talking about financially, I'm talking about just being the man of the household, being the head of the household, being a leader, it's a different kind of respect. And if you are like constantly needing her to do everything and you feel like you can't hold any weight as a man, the respect level is going to be trickling down, okay?
Well, then, what about, and I'm not all pro, I'm not on women's side or I'm not on men's side. I'm neutral because I'm single. But then you got some men, some relationships where, the one person is doing all the calls or doing all the responsibility. A respectable stand-up man will put in this instance. And then the women say, well, since he's doing all that, maybe I got time to slip out,
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know
stepping
about
out,
stepping out.
So I got myself a good man at home and he's going to be there, so let me go out and take care of my little business.
Why do you always seem to know these underhanded, sideline individuals?
I'm telling you, because I don't know these people personally, but I see it. No, I don't. We see it. I see it all the time on that Facebook.
That group we're in?
That group that we're in. And, but excuse me, that group that we are is comprised of about 160,000 people right here in this city.
And other cities too.
Primarily Philly. But if the people in the other cities, we're really not concerned about. I mean, not we.
Here's the thing.
What?
It's all different people. I was talking to somebody on Facebook the other day, and the guy was saying something about it's all about your mindset.
Yes. Yes.
And like we just said, if you are making a minimum wage and you meet somebody that's making minimum wage and y'all put it together and y'all work it out, but it's all about reaching goals.
Yes.
Like I said, nobody started out up here, and we all have room to go.
Right.
But if you can't be with somebody that's not trying to do anything, like there's people out here that are happy where they're at and they're not trying to excel, and those are the people that you really don't want to link yourself up with, because they say if you hang with 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th one. Isn't you never heard that?
No, but that makes sense.
They say that. So it's like they always say you should hang with somebody that's doing better than you, so they can motivate you.
Right. I believe that. I believe in that.
As an educated woman, I could not see myself hooking up with a guy that is not where I'm at. He's not doing the things that I'm doing, because to me, that's another child.
Right.
You finance your kids, you buy their clothes, you clean up behind them. Those are children that you do these things for. Mm-hmm. If I got to take care of a grown behind man, he can leave, and that's be one less mouth to feed. You get me?
I understand. I understand completely.
And as same instance, a woman should be bringing something to the table. A man that's a provider and can do all these things shouldn't go meet him a woman that, what your grandmother say, a pot to piss in the window, throw it out. He shouldn't find a woman like that. Right. He should find a woman that can add to him. It's about you bringing what you bring to the table, I bring what I bring to the table, and then we make it something better.
Well, that's for another show as far as building on yourself economically, whether you start by going to school or being educated, going all the way through with it, or you're getting a job and working it with integrity, which means you got to go to work every day and be on time so that you could maybe advance there, or just get that mindset of, I don't know what I'm thinking about right now, the word.
Work ethic.
Yes, thank you. Developing a positive work ethic, a good work ethic, so you can take it someplace else. And people really admire that. Sometimes that it doesn't go further than education, but sometimes that could go just as far as education, as far as your credibility. And so if you work on yourself, before you get into a relationship, sometimes it's better, to know what you bring to the table.
Well, have something to bring to the table. How about that?
Yeah.
Some people out here think they got something to bring to the table. They don't have a thing to bring to the table.
Well, because some people don't always bring finances. They bring some good loving. Some good loving.
No, that's the problem with people. That's the problem with people.
They want sex.
No romance. Sex on the ground, out in the streets. I mean, where are they having this sex at when nobody has any money?
I don't know. I mean, I think that everybody. Oh Lord, if you wait for somebody to come along before you get some. And it maybe don't have to be, okay, we're talking about relationships, not particularly marriages or isolated, monotonous unions. So and as far as relations go, you need a couple dollars. You know, you just like,
Well, I cannot subscribe to that.
well, that's what some people say. You know what? And on that particularly, we can't keep referencing that.
The group.
without mentioning the day.
No,
which we are
don't
going
mention
to.
the group.
No,
Don't mention the group.
Okay,
Don't mention the group.
But you know, they say, what are some of the questions? What are y'all bringing to the table besides good D word? Or what are y'all bringing to the table besides good P word? You know, that's the first thing they want to come to the table, not no degree.
Well, it's not, and then you keep saying degree. It's not a degree because I know people that never went to college and make way more money than I do.
Really?
Yes.
What are they doing?
Tradespeople, plumbers are making money.
Oh, yeah.
People are making IT people that some people don't even, they go to like get associate's degrees, they're making money. You don't need a degree to make money. Business owners, that's landscaping companies in my area that I live in, they're making money. You just gotta have a brain. You don't, everybody's doesn't have to go to college. You know, my husband didn't go to college. He owns his own business, he does well. Right. He's an electrician, he's a master electrician. So it's not all about a degree. It's about bringing something to the, and it's not just finances. Have a point of view. How many times have you spoken to somebody and you're like, this person is dumb. What are they talking about?
All the time.
And it's I can't even ask you a question because you don't even know what I'm talking about. That's important. Being funny is important to me.
Right.
Can you make me laugh? Any kind of relationship, even in friendships. What is our relationship built on? Sarcasm, laughter for many, many years. You know, you don't want a dry,
but then
rich
you
man.
Maybe end up like, well, he was a bum, but on that movie when he dressed up like a woman to get close to the kids, and then she said, and he wanted to make jokes when she was time to divorce it. She was not joking.
What are you talking about?
Mrs. Doubtfire.
I didn't see that movie. I don't think I saw Mrs. Doubtfire.
Well, you did see The Color Purple, right?
I did see The Color Purple.
And he took care of her.
Oh, he was crazy, Don. So that's not the same.
Well, I know it's not the same, but
she was a slave.
Well, she was his wife on papers.
And she was a slave. Well, and that's another thing. Men try to turn you into a slave when you're married. That's why you always keep your own job. That's another thing. I believe in a man being a provider, but God bless your child that got her own. Don't be out here thinking you're going to not work and think this man is going to be treating you nice because you're going to get on his nerves because he's getting up every morning to go to work and you aren't. So ladies, keep a job. Please keep a job.
Yes.
Have your own. Don't be dependent on anybody. My mom always told me, she's a very wise woman.
I know she
Don't get anything that you can't afford on your own.
Right.
Be it a car, be it a house, even as a married woman. She's like, listen, make sure everything you got, you can do it on your own.
My mom always said, make sure you keep something on the side that the other
Well,
person don't know about.
you're not supposed to do that. That's not when you're married, that's called... it's something wrong with
It's a legal term?
Financial, some nonsense that they say, because I read it on the marriage group. You're not supposed to be hiding finances from your spouse.
Really?
It's a no-no. It's a no-no.
What about if if you're saving up to leave?
Well, I guess you're really not thinking about them as your spouse anymore, but they say that. They're like, oh, no. Because everybody's like, ladies, do you have your own checking account? I'm like, yeah, I got my own checking account.
On a marriage group?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, you shouldn't have your own checking account. You know, I'm like, well, I got my own checking account.
Those people are hippies. And nothing against hippies, but, these liberals, or whatever you call it. No, well, I'm not political at all, so I won't even say that. I would maybe cut that part out. But these people say that, this and that, and like everything's a utopia. And then they'd be the people sitting on the side and say, oh, I never thought that would happen.
I think you should have your own bank account. I think you should know what's going on with the finances in your house, even if you're not paying the bills. See, I pay the bills as far as sending the money out, so I know what's going on.
Okay.
He gives the money, I send the money out. I think you should always be smart about money in a relationship, marriage, or anything else. Even in a business partnership with a friend, be smart about the money. Don't let somebody control money and you have no idea what's going on.
Have no knowledge of what's going on. Right.
You'll get yourself in trouble.
That's right. Speaking of The Color Purple, and I didn't know that movie, but the situation where domestic violence, and because my show is centered on violence, I don't like to talk. That's one thing I always hated and I think because that movie, when that movie came out, I was very young, but by the time I watched it, I was still young, and that's something that always bothered me. I can remember being about 5 years old around some place, and I didn't know what a duplex was or anything, but the lady came home from work. I was near the trolley stop over on in Southwest, but the lady, it looked like she was coming home from work. She had on a skirt and everything like that, and the guy must have been home all day. Who knows? But I was about 6 years old. But this is how I interpret
What
it.
were you doing at the trolley stop at 6 years
The
old?
block had
Where was
a
your
thing
mother?
on down the street. I wasn't at the trolley stop. This was 49th Street. You know, and the trolley goes down there.
Were you with your mother at
Yes,
6? Okay.
on King
All right, go ahead,
Sesson.
finish your
Or
story.
the-
I'm listening.
you know how you run up and down the street playing, but I'm saying near the trolley stop, that's where the lady got off at. She was coming
Okay.
home from work.
Okay.
And so the guy came to the door. I guess he opened the door for her, whether he met her at the door and punched her in the face and dragged her up the steps and closed
my
the door.
God.
And that bothered me, and that like stuck with me for, you know, until this day. You see, I remember it
And
vividly.
what did everybody do? Nothing.
It wasn't
right?
like everybody. We were kids
Did
running up and
anybody
down the
see it?
street.
Did any adults see
I
it?
saw it.
Did you tell anybody?
No, it was none of my business. I was just, you know, that was their. I mean,
Don
not that it
Hilbert was
none of my-
minding his own business.
Don Hilbert was minding his business even back then, you know. But I don't want to. What I'm saying is, you know, that's something that always kind of turned my stomach, and I because of that. And then we saw that movie that we used to get the people to sneak in and get the things for us.
What's love got to do with it?
What's love got to do with it?
Yeah.
And they and that was another domestic violence. But what do you think about that?
Power struggles. I'm telling you, I think domestic violence is power struggles. I think that these men or women, because women beat men up too,
Yeah.
and anger management. You know, somebody makes you mad, you just haul off and hit them. You know,
Or she got too much mouth, is what they say.
well, you know what it makes me think about. We talk about movies. Do you remember the movie with Lorenz Tate? What was it called? Dead Presidents. And she got right up in his face and she was like, yeah. To me, if he would have just, I don't know that I would have thought he was wrong. Like, she was like provoking him.
Wasn't she dealing
Women-
with that guy?
Well, I don't know what she was doing, but she got up in his face and told him that, yeah, I'm you know what in him. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to like knock her lights out.
Well, Lorenz Tate is a good man.
Well,
Good,
it was
good
a,
man. So I don't want to talk.
but I'm just saying,
You don't
like,
want to tarnish his image by
you
making
never
it
want to say women are provoking men, but I feel like sometimes you got to like back off because number one, I feel like, and I don't care who disagrees with me because I'm right, women are not as strong as men.
physically.
Physically,
True.
we're not as strong as men.
That's true.
So why would you jump in a man's face, not unless you don't think he's going to hit you? But if you know this man is capable of knocking you out, are you trying to get beat up? Like, I don't understand. Like, if I jumped in my husband's face, he's not going to hit me. I know this. I might go jump in his face. But I'm not going to be out in the street jumping into some random man's face. And then when he knocks me out cold, it's like, why were you in his face, miss?
Right.
You know-
I've seen it in videos.
I've seen it too. It's not funny. I'm so forgive me, but it's like, what were you trying to accomplish? Did you think you were going to win? I don't understand.
Well,
that.
like you said, maybe power struggle, where she thought that, you know, like he's not going to do this. But I seen an Alfred Hitchcock movie where this lady was, but I'm not a movie, the show. It's a very, very good mysteries. But, you know, this lady was provoking her husband, not all up in his face, because we talking about the 50s, you know, so she was submissive and stuff, but she was chatty and blah, blah, blah. And she got on his nerves, but he was quiet and humble and submissive himself. You know, he went back and forth, but, you know, he brought her a snake that killed her. Well, they thought he was trying to kill her with the snake, but, you know, to turn like the Alfred Hitchcock movies always do. This snake wound up killing him or something like that. But you know what I mean? So they think they're getting away with it, but they're not always getting away
Well,
with it.
there's never a good reason to hit anyone. That's what they tell you, right? And I believe that. But I also believe, as we were talking about on the first show, sometimes you gotta learn how to walk away from a situation.
Yes.
When you see it escalating, and then if a person has escalated on you before in a relationship, you need to realize that it's not going to be like, oh, he punched me in the eye one time. You know, he's going to punch you in the eye 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So it's like, at some point, you're going to have to say, this is an ongoing thing. We're going to have to do something, or I'm going to have to leave the situation. So, but then a lot of women, I don't know if it's low self-esteem, that they stick around with somebody that's going to be knocking upside their head. I don't know. I really feel like it is low self-esteem because most of the women that I know that are in abusive relationships have low self-esteem.
Or maybe they just hopeful that it'll get better.
Well, they claim they love the man, but then at the same time, they'll tell you, oh, well, he keeps telling me nobody else is going to want me with these kids. Or these men are very, and I don't want to keep saying men. Because I'm sure that there's women that are out here doing this too. But all the stories I know are men. They're manipulative. They're not dummies. They prey on a weak person, a person that's vulnerable, and then they just beat them down mentally and physically. So to the point where they feel like they don't have anywhere to turn. Isolate them from their family. I know you know people that this happened to, because I know plenty personally.
Isolated from their family. I know a woman that isolated a man from his family completely.
Was she beating them up?
Maybe, who knows? But she certainly did isolate him. They couldn't even have his telephone number.
See, controlling.
But you know that's what happens to people. I feel like when they feel trapped, and like you said, they feel like they have nowhere else to go. But there is hope. I believe, and everybody believe that whether it's hope with violence, relationship violence, relationship problems, any kind of problem you have, there's always an outlet to it. It's not particularly about, I don't know, battling it out or power struggles. There could always be some kind of talk. Don't be afraid to talk to each other. That's the main thing you could do. Is everything can be talked out, everything can be worked out. You could work it out within yourself in a quiet room. You could walk away and think about it and talk it out, or you could talk it out with that person. But please, let's do that.
Or you could find someone else to help you. Don't
A
be afraid
mediator.
to walk away and get somebody to help you, because at the end of the day, somebody that's beating you up could eventually kill you.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely a warning sign.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being with us again. Always appreciate your presence and your perspectives. And until next time, on our next show, we're going to talk about how jobs could build your self-esteem, or how having your own money can make you feel good. And then we'll have an expert, human resources person, to tell us about job seeking and things that are not acceptable at work. Thanks a lot. Bye.